Hello, my name is Rajat Talesra and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this series, I'll be focusing on Ruby on Rails. Anyone who is a beginner in Ruby on Rails or who is interested in Fullstack can go through this entire series. In this, instead of guiding you about the entire stack, what I am focused on is creating a replica of any popular startup. For this particular series, I have focused on Airbnb. Okay, let's write it down. Airbnb clone. Okay, so we'll be focusing on Airbnb clone. All these videos will be directly recorded and uploaded without any editing. So you will see a lot of errors, mistakes along the way, and that's a part of engineers job. So yeah, you should learn that also. And yeah, let's dive into tech stack directly. So in this, we'll be using following tech stack. For front end, we are using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and TailwindCSS. We can use other things like React, which is really popular combination with Ruby on Rails, but I just want to focus more on Ruby on Rails rather than the front end part, and that was the reason I chose HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And yeah, so in this, I don't expect a lot of proficiency from the viewers, so it's fine if you know basic of it and not a lot of it, so it's completely fine. For backend, we are using Rails 7 plus Ruby 3 plus. It's completely fine if you are not aware of these two things. We will start from scratch. And for database, we are using PostgreSQL, basically a SQLite database, sort of SQLite database, but it's much more better. And for this also, for database also, you should be aware of how databases work, how queries work, how tables work. It's fine if you don't know the code, because even I don't know a lot of code, and we'll just Google search and figure things out. So in short, yeah, along with that, we'll be using Git, Turbo, Stimulus and various other libraries also. So the long story short, if you have some experience in front end or in back end or in database, you can view this series and learn entire Ruby on Rails and full stack development. So yeah, let's go into this. Let's start with, let me see, we should start with I do have a script here, so I'll be following that script. Okay, let's have a look at Airbnb first. Okay, so if we have a look at it, let me log out first. Let's start from scratch. So what all functionalities do we have in Airbnb? We have these filters, these properties, the search criteria, and obviously the user profile. But before going into that, let's have a look at one of the properties. Okay, translations are available, property images, booking, details of the property, which should not be Google Maps. Okay, then rules and a lot of different things. And if we try to reserve it, I think it, okay, it mentions all the details. Great. Let's go back. Let's click on sign up. It opens up model. Okay, it has already saved my profile. Great. Let's click on login again. Okay, use another account. Okay. Okay, so in short, I think I can also host my property, Airbnb or home. Okay, Airbnb. Okay, got it. So the main features that we'll be focusing on are the search criteria, maybe filters, I'm not fully sure, we'll figure that out. Viewing of properties, adding of properties, so you can act as a host as well as a regular user. We will obviously have the payment integration, because that's important. The authentication, you can sign up and log in, those kind of things. And if we are adding property, that means as a host, I should be able to see all the reservations, dates on which the property has been booked, and my payment history. So yeah, we will integrate all those things. Google Maps. So I think it would be a really long project. Let's see, figure out review system and all those things. How does this work? Okay, they take reviews on based on these. Got it. Let's figure it out together. Okay, and we have basic understanding of how Airbnb works and what all features we will be targeting. Let's have a look at Tailwind UI. This I have already used on other projects also, and I think it's a good product. I'm not much more focused on the front end part of the project, and that's why I'm using Tailwind UI. Basically, it will provide us ready-made components. So as a viewer, you have two options. This is a paid product basically. So you can either buy this product, or first option I'm giving you from my side is that, for example, if we end up using, let's have a look at header. Okay, so if we end up using this header, for example, or let's make it much more common to, I think this one. Let's have a look. Okay, there is just middle part and left, right. Okay, so if we are having look at this particular component, and if we are trying to use this Tailwind UI component, then what I will do is I will copy this code. Obviously, you will find that in my GitHub repo also, but I'll make a separate copy of this exact code in my GitHub with this particular name. So whatever name it is, so that you can directly copy paste from there also. So instead of going to Tailwind UI, you can use basically my repo to replicate this entire code. So that way you won't have to pay a lot of money on this. At the same time, if you want to figure out the entire front end on your own, you can implement that on your own. Or I think there are other websites also. Tailwind UI components. There's Flowbyte, then there is Tailwind components, Daisy UI. So there are a lot of other websites also which will provide you code for various components. For example, let's have a look at one of them. Again, maybe we can go to footer this time. Okay, so this is the footer, and they have already provided you the code. So yeah, you can use these other websites also. It's up to you. I'll provide you with the code, so it should not matter much. So yeah, that's Tailwind UI for you. And one last thing, which is Rails installation, that you will have to do on your own, because I found out that there are already a lot of videos on internet about this. There are already a lot of blogs and articles about it, and it can be easy also, or it can be hard depending upon your laptop configuration. Anyhow, Rails installation, you'll basically have to install Rails and Ruby. Yeah, and for that you can go through this Rails guide, which is, we'll be using this guide a lot in this video series because it's a really great guide, to keep it short. So yeah, and okay, so third step is creating new Rails. Okay, what is Rails? So I think in first step you will find a lot of resources using which you can, okay, installation. So you can use a lot of different versions and all those things to install Rails. Great. So this was the introduction. As a summary, I can say that we'll be cloning Airbnb and we'll figure out things on the go. That's it. And you'll find the code on GitHub. I'll try to create them as separate parts. That's it. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.